Good morning. Hang on, just cars coming by here. Yeah, later start this morning. It's just before 8 a.m. The good news is that I've spotted my first Camino arrow. First one I've spotted in town so far on my way out. Shorter walk today to it's either Merida or Merida. 15 kilometres, so we'll be there before, well, assuming everything goes to plan, we'll be there before 12. Good night's sleep, very peaceful. You'd be happy to know that that hotel did open up. Yesterday I called the number there and the chap came around. I was a little nervous initially that indeed I'd be the only person staying there, which was a little creepy, but it didn't turn out to be the case. Other punters came in later on at about 6 o'clock, so I had company somewhere. Other than that, look, I didn't necessarily recap on yesterday's walk. A longer walk in terms of distance, but look, to be honest, an easy walk given the conditions that I had. That was perfect day. Light breeze, relatively cool, overcast, no rain. So, you know, I think I came into town at, I can't remember now, about 1:30 in the afternoon. So, all in all, a good day. Looking forward to today. I will see some Roman ruins, and I'm looking forward to that. Well, hopefully they won't be too ruined, so we'll find out there. But it should be quite exciting. So I think we've got a bit of road walking this morning. Oh yeah, sun's just coming through now. We've got road walking this morning for about half the distance, and then we pull off to the right and walk the second half of the distance into Merida. So I might cross sides here, so I'm on the oncoming or facing the oncoming cars rather than the ones behind me. But the shoulder of the road here is easy 2 meters wide, so it's actually pretty good walking. Other than that, no, feeling good, and yeah, can't wait to have a look around Merida. Hopefully I'll be able to drop my bags off, or my backpack off, at the hotel, and grab a look at some history. So yeah, should be a good day. Ciao. As it happens, there is a path that runs along the road here, so which is good. You don't have to walk along the road. I did have to come back up to the road just back there, though. There was a little river crossing that obviously they've had rains here, and or more a creek, but yeah, it wasn't passable on foot. So little bits and pieces, but no, this walking is very good here. You can see the sun almost about to rise there behind that mountain. There's our trail here, and very pretty vista in that direction to another mountain. Now I'm probably getting a little excited. There was a group just back there digging along this trench here. You can see them there just in the distance. And there are rocks down there. Could this be the Via de la Plata? Obviously, I don't think the Romans quite developed asphalt on this particular stretch I'm on, but was that road just off to the left there, was that ruins, because the people seem to be digging it with small trowels. One thing I should have also mentioned perhaps is that Merida is the capital of Extremadura, this region that we're walking through at the moment. So it's a state capital, so for what it's worth, I assume it's I don't know how big it is, but it was just one of the little tidbits I read in the information. Just got some road walking here. Been on this probably for the last kilometre or so. It's not too bad. The road's actually, it's better than walking over there. That's that is the high-speed version just next to us there. See some cars coming through. This one here, particularly on this side of the road, is pretty quiet. I've only passed a few cars, but the scenery is very pleasant. And there's that mountain we were looking at before. And Merida, city of Merida, is coming into view there, just into the valley there ahead. So yeah, it's probably another 45 minutes or so. Welcome. This is our first little piece of Roman construction. It's called the Fuente Romana, the Roman bridge, which is pretty to the point. It's the longest Roman bridge still in existence today. It's 790 metres long, apparently. So this watercourse here is significant. So we'll climb up on that in a tick and come across. And there's some sort of Roman fortification. I don't know whether you'll see it there, but just essentially behind those trees, or just to the right of those trees there. Magnificent. This bridge is still in use today. There are people walking across it. I don't think there's cars on it per se. And now we're on the bridge. That's toward Merida Centre. And that's, as I said, from the other direction there. There are two other bridges. There's one off to the right. Well, there could be even more than that. And there's looks like another bridge over there, suspension bridge over there. This is, well, it's nice. I think that fortification, my memory serves me, called the Alcazaba, I think. So excuse me if I'm wrong there. But yeah, this is one massive floodplain this bridge is going over. So I would have spent ages making this back in the day. But obviously necessity required them to be able to cross this stretch of water, this flood area there. Take a step down. Feels a bit more touristy here. Definitely more than Torremejia. Come to think of it too, I haven't seen a Camino Arrow for a little while as well, so thank goodness for the guides. Okay, so you can Alcazaba. Oh, I think I was right. 9th century, it reckons. As the clock strikes 12, you can hear it there in the background. All done. Welcome from Merida. Checked into the hotel, it was great. I was able to check in early, which is lovely, and it's bliss. I have here my small backpack on, probably weighs in the order of 2 to 3 kilos, and I am converted. I am loving not having to lug around a heavy backpack, but anyway, that's just how it is. I've only just touched Merida, I've only just been in here, and I'm heading out to the ruins soon. But yeah, it seems like a really nice town. There are more tourists here, but it's nothing like Seville. Seville was just berserk with tourists. This, town so far, the centre of it, the old town, has a beautiful feel to it, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing it in a bit more detail. I just had a drink, and looking forward to doing some exploring. This is magnificent. You walk up a little street, as you can see there, and then it opens up into this. Oh, look at that. This is a Muslim temple built 900 AD. It's just incredible. It's just weird how literally the whole city's built around this temple. It's called the Diana Temple. Magnificent. Just the impact of walking out of the streets and seeing this. And there are some Roman footings down here as well. Just amazing. Well, this is very impressive, isn't it? This is the theatre. Just panning through. Still in use today. There looks to be a concert that they're setting up for. The stage area is enormous, so it would be I don't know, 6-7 meters deep by easy 30 meters wide or something. This is the amphitheatre. Apparently this is where the gladiators did their work. Again, the area there in the centre is just huge. So if there was only 2 opponents down there, they would have plenty of room to run around, that's for sure. You can see that person down there taking a photo. just actually down on the fighting platform here. Interestingly, they talked about, in some of the information there, they talked about the life of a gladiator. Before they used to fight, the night before, they used to eat ashes of bones and timber to give them, I don't know what the timber would give them, in fact I don't know what the bones would give them, but would fortify their strength and help their own bones. You'd be happy to know that the average life of a gladiator was 27 years. So not very long, but then again, maybe the average life back then wasn't particularly long anyway. And Emperor Augustus would forbid the killing on the fighting, or in the fighting stadium here. So apparently that was revoked with later emperors, but obviously once someone was seriously injured, they just dragged them off. I've just done a circumnavigation of the amphitheatre directly opposite. There's some scribings on the rock. The people that used to sit there were the ones that used to fund the fights. So magistrates and the like, apparently. Around, it was roughly about 210 paces, so I don't know, I predict the circumference to be probably around about 160, 170 metres. So plenty of running opportunities for our gladiators. Well, this is all a bit large to take in, but this is the Roman circus. So built, I think, I said there 100 AD, 400 and something metres long and over 100 metres wide. Absolutely humongous. Interestingly, it's been was built back 100 AD and then it was restored. I think they had evidence of restoration in 500 AD, and more recently it was used as fields and the like, and then after 1919 it was basically excavated and restored. So yeah, I'm now walking, oh, look, who knows, right? But that is just enormous. It's nice that they've restored it to this level and people can take it in, but it is big, and I assume it was home to the chariot races and whatever. I mean, this is bigger than a football field, for example. It's probably twice the size of a footy field. Well, that's the bridge taken from the wall of the Alcuescar, and that in the centre there is actually an island. You can do walks on that. I believe quite sizable walks. So when we talk about this bridge crossing that floodplain, it crosses obviously the rivers on either side and that parkland in the centre there. This is, as I say, from the wall of the Alcuescar, and just like the Camino or the Via de la Plata, look at this, I've got it all to myself again. And I had the Roman circus. No, there is a couple behind that tree over there, but and I had the Roman circus to myself earlier as well. I suppose it is siesta time, but I don't know what tourists do during siesta time, but definitely a lot around the amphitheatre and the theatre, which are quite spectacular. Obviously this is the remnants of the gate that essentially followed on from the bridge into this walled city that would have sat here. It is quite amazing though when you look at it. You can see the fallen stones that have been masoned. Is that a word? That have been obviously worked to get into square blocks to put into the walls and the like, and they're just lying around, but they're not something that one person on their own could ever move. This in the centre there is an entry that goes down here into a well that's basically under here, which has little fish in it. But so another couple coming in. So look, yeah, very pleasant up here. Fantastic views, as I say, of the Roman bridge. Well, I thought this would be a fitting backdrop to my update for the day. This is the aqueduct here in its remaining entirety. There are a couple of supports just on the other side of the park there as well, but quite magnificent. I've had a great day in Merida. A relatively easy short walk in from Torremejia. Got here early, checked in, and then just went out to check out some of the sites here. Yeah, it's obviously something that never ceases to sort of amaze, to look at the history there and what we can see. Weather's been fantastic, very picturesque. I have to be honest with you, travelling doing the touring around in the afternoon has been fantastic, because just like the Via de la Plata, you've got it all to yourself. The streets are basically empty. They're even devoid of tourists, which is even better. You can see there's no one really behind me here as well, looking at this magical structure. But I had this on my own. I had the Roman circus on my own. The Alcuescar bar, I think it is, on my own. So it's been good. But look, I don't mind tourists, and there are quite a few around the theatre and the amphitheatre, which was just fine. So look, a great day, and I'm very happy I've had half a day here. I normally don't stop on the walks I've done in the past for too long. Normally just do the sightseeing in the afternoon, so I've never sort of spent an extra day. Look, you could never see everything obviously in half a day, but definitely I've just cherry picked obviously some of the main sites here, and I'm very happy I have been to Merida now, and very happy that I've seen this. Good morning. Earlier start this morning, 6:45, so still not chronically early, but I will be walking in a little bit of darkness for a while. Had a great day in Merida yesterday, but obviously on our way out now. Look, the earlier starts because we've got a little more distance to do today. Longer walk, but we will be going through towns, so it's not, it won't be sparse, and there'll be a couple of villages we travel through. So I've taken a bit of a gamble here, and just to throttle back on the water, I'm only carrying probably about 3 litres. It's almost pitch black now. With the hope that I can fill up in those towns. Other than that, yeah, good night, and looking forward to the day ahead. I am really looking forward to finding my Camino arrows, which have been a bit sparse of late. But no doubt we'll get back on the track okay. So just trying to figure my way through town here. already some movement of cars for the day ahead. It will be a clear day, I think. It's lovely now, it's fresh, but hence the earlier start. Well, that was an exercise in navigation. If your mapping app helps you out, at least on one day on the Camino or the Via de la Plata, it would have to be this morning. Not particularly well signed at all, but I've just seen a lowly arrow, so I think I'm on my way out. We're heading to a town called Proserpina, which is about 6 k's away, I think. And this does seem to be the road to Proserpina, so we shall we shall see. But no, happy to be on my way. I don't know if you're ever planning to do this walk, but essentially the path takes you out past the aqueduct again, and then from that you essentially cross over the river and then head off to the left. But good luck with those arrows. Maybe in daylight hours it would make a lot of make it a lot easier, but in any case I think we're okay now and we're on our way. Well, we have the sun rising in the sky very slowly. There was a bit of actually on-road walking earlier, but then it developed out into this lovely bike path here. Yes, it's on the road, but the surface is great to walk on, and obviously safe. There'd been no other bike riders, and I assume this will take us through to Proserpina. In fact, not bad for an early start. It's fully lit with traffic lights, so actually works out well for an early start because you can clearly see where you're walking, and it's good safe walking here. As the crickets are just chirping there in the distance. Not sure if you can hear those over the car drone. Okay. Well, this is lovely walking here. Essentially, we're sticking to the shores of this beautiful lake, which is very picturesque with the sun rising and light cloud in the distance. Obviously a secondary or tertiary road, but it is a sealed surface, so it's actually pretty good walking. Now our friends, the sun's just breaking through there. Well, this is fantastic walking. We left the road probably a kilometre back. Sort of a narrow sandy track. Rocky in some sections, but not too bad. It's opened up onto an unmade road here to, I think the place is Carascahello is the town that's probably up here another couple of k's. So this is just magnificent. Look at this. It's beautiful. In fact, the walk this morning, once we left that main road at Proserpina there, it's been magnificent around the lake and then through those grazing lands. It's a nice time of the day too to be walking. It's just so, look at that, it's just so clear. You just make out the path we've been through here. Yeah, that's golden. That's very enjoyable walking. Not too difficult, just undulating type hills. And you can move at a fairly good pace through here. So we'll stop at Carascahello. I think I've got the name right. Just to get my hat and glasses and sunscreen on, give the feet a bit of a break, and then we'll head out again to, I think, Algeciras. But oh no, this is as good as it gets here. Very nice. Just entering Carascahello. Gee, I hope I've got that name right. Look, for any Spaniards that are watching, just apologies in advance. Just coming into Algeciras there. What's nice is that the community here is putting this little rest area in place with chairs, and those trees, those plane trees, will be lovely when they're grown to full size, providing shade for travellers and walkers, I suspect. But yeah, that's just a very short walk on from the previous village, whose name totally escapes me. But anyway, I do apologise, but I probably didn't pronounce it anyway correctly at the time anyway. So yeah, just coming into town here. I might look if there's a shop open. I might just get some provisions. The next stretch is yeah, something like 19-20 k's. So so we are doing well, but it will be a bit warmer, so I might see what they've got here. If not, I do have enough in the pack to get me through. Okay. Two other pilgrims on the walk today, a couple from Spain. So not without company today, but it's interesting. We left, there was about, I think about 11 in that group who headed out of Seville, and I've only seen of late 4 in total. Don't know where all the other ones have gone, but if they're leaving early, leaving late, or have stopped off, or perhaps they're maybe not even walking this far. Maybe they're only doing a couple of days. So who knows, right? But so the Spanish couple will be behind us. So they just stopped for a coffee in town there. Okay, I'll come back. I might talk a bit about backpacks in a moment as well, just for the chat of the day. This is special. We're about to enter into another national park, or park natural it's called, Cornalvo. Park Natural. Oh, this should be very pleasant. You can hear the road's off there to the left, but we'll peel away from that further and further now, as we've got this to ourselves. There's livestock in here though, because the path is pitted with hoof marks. So definitely been animals through here before, like lots of animals, like herded animals, not just wild animals. I just want to talk about, and I'm no expert in this field, about backpacks. The backpack I've got at the moment I've used for my 3 walks, and continues to serve me very well. I mean, outside of that, it doesn't get a lot of use. I use smaller backpacks for day hikes and things of that nature. So for those planning to do walks of this type, I would recommend you get a pack, get a good one. Even if you have to pay a little bit more. I think what you sure as goodness don't want on a walk like this is for your backpack to be failing. And whilst it's not always an indicator, but maybe spending a bit more, you might get one that's of slightly better quality, that may be durable. The other thing I'd say too is when you do get your backpack, to purchase it at a store where you can get some help and support, you want to get one that fits you, that's right for your size. You don't want to get one that's too big, and what I say there, the frame needs to fit your body, otherwise I think that could be very uncomfortable, and considering you'll be walking for days, you do want that to be very comfortable. And the next step is to, and you'll find tons of these clips on YouTube, is to look at the good advice on YouTube if you can find it, and set your pack up and adjust your pack so it fits your body. So that essentially means that the straps going over the top of the arms fit or align with your arms, with obviously the waist straps on. It sounds like a small thing, but even with this backpack, when I had it for my first walk, it wasn't adjusted properly, and then one day I spent the time to research it, get it set up right, and it was almost like day and night. Would you believe it? The same backpack with the same weight, but just being set up properly. So if you get it sort of right, the weight in the backpack, which will always be heavier than you like, should be resting or carried by your hips. And I find here I can get it carried by the front of my body, so there's not a lot of weight actually being not a lot of vertical weight being imposed on the shoulders. And I think that's very important, because I think it can be very tiring if it's just hanging off your shoulders the entire time. So by setting it up right, the weight of the backpack is then spread on the hips and across the body, and it makes walking far more enjoyable, which is I think the key here. Otherwise, if you're not enjoying your walking, then every day becomes misery. If you've got an area for, as we said, if you're traveling on your own, an area for a water bladder, that would be great. Most would have that. And in my case, getting personal here, look, we all do, right? When we start to work, we perspire a bit. My backpack has a mesh separator, so I'm essentially, the backpack or the contents of the backpack is separated from my back, and that allows an air gap there for breathability, and it works a treat. You will still perspire when you're walking hard or working hard, and you will still perspire in hot weather, but if the backpack was against my back, it would just be drenched, whereas the air in there allows that to stay mostly dry and gives you that breathability that you want. So I find that's a real bonus as well. So yeah, get a good one, a good backpack that is. Get one that fits you, set it up correctly, and then hopefully you'll have many hours on the Camino that are pleasurable. Yes, it would be great not to be carrying. I walked around town yesterday with with probably 2.5 kilos on my back, and it was joyous. But look, you've got to carry your things. That's just how it is on the Camino. So try to do that as comfortably as possible, and I think yeah, you'll enjoy your walking a great deal more. Okay. Just another shot from within the park here. Yeah, this is wonderful. Wide open plains, meandering path. But yeah, they've incorporated the Via de la Plata very well into this park here. Another shot here. Seems a little more arid here actually. Smaller shrubs and trees. We've been climbing a little bit, but not too much. There's a beautiful breeze up here. But yeah, just slightly different vegetation up here. Just perhaps a little bit harder going now. We're off obviously that main road, and this is a washed out walking path. Sections are good, other sections not as good. A little hillier as well, so some more inclines here. Hence the puffing, excuse that. Well, this is hard to take. I brought with me a selfie stick on this trip, and you'd be happy to know I've used it twice. I'm too lazy to use it when I'm walking, just too much frigging around. But for this, it's wonderful because I can set the camera up. It's just turned 12:30, 12:45. I just thought I'd stop here for a snack before I commence the final push, so to speak. I have here nuts, and I have here what they call a Napolitana. It'd be a chocolate croissant or a pain au chocolat, maybe in different languages. And this will give me plenty of energy to push on for the rest of the trip. So it's been a lovely walk through this park. I don't know whether you can hear that, but they are the confounded chainsaws of hell cutting down trees in this area, but on private property, I suspect. But look, if it wasn't for that, it'd be totally silent here apart from me and the birds. Well, looks like we've come out into another expansive valley. Just see, I'm going to walk past this tree here. I suspect we may be down in there tomorrow. But that seems to go on forever, or at least 30 or 40 kilometres. Yeah, coming back to, you can hear the road there in the distance. So making our way back, I'm actually staying just outside of Alcuescar. because I just couldn't get accommodation. So this is a little bit out. So in the morning I'll have to walk into town a little bit and then rejoin the Camino. So effectively I'm off the Camino at the moment on my own, but not far. The Camino is just off to my right there. Morning. I'm not going to move too quickly because I'll run out of light this morning. A good night's sleep, heading off to Valdesalor today. Valdesalor today. Shortish or shorter walk, I think around 26 kilometres, though I've got a few extra because I didn't actually stay in Alcuescar last night. In fact, there was no accommodation there. I had to camp out of town a little bit, so I'm essentially off the Camino. I have to take this road back into town. A bit worrying considering it's dark, which is about 2.5-3 k's, and then off on the trail. So look, maybe about 28-29 k's today. Other than that, look, interesting accommodation for the evening. The water was, I think they use ball water here, so I had to buy bottled water for all drinking and things of that nature. Generally I found the water in Spain to be fine to drink, but no, I was a little concerned here. But look, you know, maybe they're just not on reticulated mains here. So other than that, not much else to report. I'll give you an update once we hit Alcuescar, as I say, about half an hour or so. Well, I'm happy to be here. That I dispatched that very quickly. Fortunately, the trail apps or the mapping apps also have secondary roads on them, and I peeled off the main road into Alcuescar. I mean, I'm not far out now. I've probably dispatched, I don't know, 1.5 kilometres, 2 kilometres. But look, as a walker, you don't really want to be walking along roads when it's dark. Fortunately, the sun is rising, and look, there's even enough light now for the camera to pick me up in the picture here. But I don't know, there might have been 15 cars that passed, fortunately most on the other side of the road. You just got to pull off. You don't want to get hit, and use obviously the flashlight or torch on your camera or whatever to show the drivers that there is something there. Yeah, not not my favourite bit of walking, but was done very quickly. So this little trail actually hooks up with the Camino, or the Via de la Plata, and this will take us now to Alcuescar and beyond. So anyway, the things you do. Okay, heading out of Alcuescar. You'll be happy to know that I lost the trail in town. Yeah, for those, if you are going to do this walk, you've got to peel off as you get into town straight away. Don't just plod in there like I just did. Actually, Alcuescar is a very pretty town, so it's actually beneficial getting in there. Set into the side of a hill, and it looks like a large town. So it's a bit of a mystery as to why I couldn't get accommodation in Alcuescar last night. No idea why that would be the case, but because it looks like it would support heaps of hostels or casas, or smaller accommodation places. But anyway, that's what it is. So we've essentially headed out on our way now. What's the time? It's actually 8:25, so lost a bit of time in town, but looks to be a nice morning. Bit of a red sky I could see earlier. Hopefully that's no omen, but I think it'll be clear walking today. I'll ping you soon. This is very pleasant. We've got, obviously we're walking somewhat west at the moment with a slight hint of north, and we're in that valley that we saw coming down from that national park yesterday. Very picturesque, and it's nice having that sun behind for a while. Nice and quiet. Basically roads coming out of Alcuescar there, so we'll make fairly good time here, I would suggest. All going well. Been 2 or 3 cars on this road, but still very quiet. And what we are seeing here, we've got the standard selection of olive trees. Haven't seen many grapes for a while down here, but we're seeing more figs now. Lots of fig groves. Just another shot from the track here. Believe it or not, I've just seen some other walkers. In fact, I just passed 3 ladies who are walking, whom I've not seen before. So I suspect that they departed on a different day. In the distance there, you'll see a lake, a beautiful lake that I assume is supplementing and supporting the local village here that's coming up, which is called La Casa, the home of someone. It'll come back to me in a tick, particularly when I refer to my notes. This is very pretty here. So we've got a avenue of trees leading us into La Casa de Don Antonio. I think I said San Antonio back there, sorry about that. La Casa de Don Antonio, the house of Don Antonio. So I actually think we just skirt by this town. I don't think we are stopping in here. Well, we've left La Casa de Don Antonio. That is a very pretty village, actually. Had a nice little stop there, just to rest the feet, and we're now essentially walking along the road, but they've got a nice trail here, safe trail here, to Aldea de Cano. So the village, or the town of Cano, which is, I think, up about 7 kilometres. So be there in hopefully just over an hour. That's good going on this trail here. Again, I'll see, because it's a Saturday, I'll see what provisions I can purchase there, and hoping that there'll be other stores in Valdesalor when I get there that are still open. Well, we've left Aldea de Cano. A wonderful little store in there, not far from the albergue. just sort of directly opposite and down the road there. Great selection of you know, food. We've got some bread there and some fish and whatever, so a little gem to stock up on things there in a very wide range, so that was very convenient. You can see I'm accompanying the roadway here off to the left, in fact about to go, I suspect, under it. I think we've come to a look, an airport as such, or a runway of such. They've got some buildings here. I don't know if they're defunct or not. It's extremely quiet here. But if you had to build a runway somewhere, I'd build it here, because it's wide open and flat, and I think we're coming up to the runway here. Obviously check out for planes that are taking off. I don't want to get hit by an aircraft, but so yeah, it's just a dirt runway here, and we'll get into the centre of it. I mean, there's no windsock here or anything. It's just looking from the tyre tracks, it looks like some of the locals come up here and do a bit of circle work, but that's about it. But anyway, there are other hangars ahead. Look, maybe they're light aircraft or ultralights or whatever it might be, but yeah, nice and open here. And the Via del Plata cuts right through the centre of it. We've just gone over a rise, and now we've got a view into another valley here. I think that's Valdesalor. Straight ahead you might just make out a very tall building. I think it skirts the freeway which is there, or the main freeway which is to our right now. And I'd probably say we've got at least another 45 minutes before we reach that from here. Just come across this magnificent bridge here. It's a walking bridge. A car could probably fit across it, but I think they'd be banned. Don't know whether this is Roman. It's well built, and it seems quite old. It's a nice way to come into well, it's not really coming into Valdesalor, because Valdesalor is still up a few 100 metres, but anyway, it was required to cross that river slash creek there. We just went over. Should say Valdesalor, it said in the guide there, is a relatively new town. I think it said it was built in the 60s. So I don't know whether you can see the church spire there in the distance, perhaps not, but yeah, it obviously looks of a more modern style, modern design, and I suspect this is a town that supports the road network coming through here. It might be an interchange or something between a number of different roads. It looks like it's got a very large petrol station there for the trucks and the like. Good morning from Valdesalor. Had a great night's sleep and all fired up to visit Casares today. A later morning, you can just see there on the horizon. The sun is pretty much up. It's about 7:45. We've got a fairly short walk into Casares, I think about 10 or 11 k's, which should only take us, 2 hours or so. And then we'll have a look around Casares. Hopefully check out some of its Roman artifacts. And when we're finished, we're going to push on to Caesar de Casares, which is about another 10 or 11 k's further on. So, 21 kilometre day, fairly short, beautiful crisp morning, cloudless sky so far. It really doesn't get much better than this, does it? I didn't do a recap yesterday, but from Alcuescar, look, it was a pleasant walk. I enjoyed the walking in the morning more than the walking in the evening or the afternoon. It became a little flat, a little arid, but that's how it is out here. You can just see it is very flat land here, but ahead we will be heading into hills soonish. The paths are all pretty good quality in the afternoon. A little rocky and a little, I'll call it stony, where the size of the gravel starts to get sort of bigger than 2 to 3 centimetres, and that can be a little tiring to walk on, particularly in the latter part of the day. But overall, look, a good day's walk, but it's more picturesque, I would argue, in the morning. So we've got to cross this secondary road first, and then we'll be following the main road, I think, into the main highway into Casares. The reality is this is the Via de la Plata, so you're always going to be sort of tracking in parallel with the main roads, because they were built on the history and the engineering prowess of initially the Spanish and then the Romans. So of course we're going to be crossing back and forth the road the whole time. That's just how it's going to be. Other than that, feel good, and we'll catch up soon. Lovely path, this one. We've actually crossed over the major freeway and then heading out to Casares. Morning. Buenos dias. A couple of riders there out on the Sunday ride. That's a magnificent experience as you come up over a rise, and hopefully you can see it there in the video. The township of Casares is essentially a couple of hills away. Oh, that's quite splendid, actually. And just the way it presents, it's quite dominating. Oh yeah. It's a great thing about walking, because you're not going too quickly. Those moments sort of present themselves, either around corners or over hills. Don't want to get carried away with it, but yeah, that was wonderful how that just rolled out in front of us there, right in front of me. I've seen a few bike riders on this path today, obviously locals from Casares. That's one of the wonders about the Via de la Plata or the Camino paths, isn't it? They are used by a lot of people, not just walkers, but for all reasons, right? For enjoyment, entertainment, and as a result, people walking on the paths actually, in a strange way, maintain the paths because weeds and grasses don't overgrow the trails and whatever. So it is positive that they are well used, and they're a great facility for us all to enjoy. Just an asphalt path into town. It looks like the old town is pretty much directly in front, just slightly off to the left. What I do notice about Casares is there are a lot of cranes. I don't know whether you can make it out on the camera, but yeah, there are a lot of cranes in use here. So I suspect, in fact, there are a lot, considering the size of the town, I suspect this is a growing township or a growing city. I can count, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, just on the walk in from this side of town. So it's a happening place, Casares. Well, this is lovely here. They've got a promenade down the centre of Avenida de Español, I think this is called. And yeah, this is lovely. This is lush and green. In fact, I'll cut through here to the centre. It's a little dark, if anything, but that's only because these trees are just filling and covering the sky. That is magnificent. A very pretty town. I can see why, perhaps I can see why it's growing. Obviously it's growing into the outer region, so they are some distance away from where we are at the moment. But yeah, I suspect this is the ritzy area here. That's lovely. And I think I lost the Camino ages ago. I'm just following my guide here, but I think the old town's somewhere down the end here. So oh yeah, this is nice walking actually. And now the city transforms into obviously the old town, and this more traditional winding road through narrow streets and tall buildings. Lovely. Yeah, this town's got a bit of everything, which is very nice. Don't quite know where I'm headed, but just follow the people. We're in the old walled city, and I'm no historian here, but apparently the town of Casares was founded by the Romans in century BC, and then it's taken over by the Visigoths, and then the Muslims built the wall around the city. And look, filming and the camera just doesn't give this place the impression. It is magnificent to walk in here. You can see through every little path and road there is another construction, another beautiful building in there, obviously more modern, relatively, but obviously there are portions of the older city here as well. But yeah, this is just magnificent, and I don't think the camera does it credit. Little pathways everywhere. No cars up here, which is good. See up the back here, and all these little vistas that come into view. As one walks through the town. Oh. That's just magnificent. Just another road. What makes, I think, so special here is that the way they've used stones, local rocks, in the mortar work, in the brickwork. It makes it very, very attractive. Gives it a busy yet natural look. Example there in daylight. A lot of character in those walls, and obviously fairly durable, I would argue. Just leaving Casares. That was a most enjoyable stop. Sometimes you wonder, look, you don't always know how much time you should spend in a city like that, but there is a lot to see there. I suppose the couple of hours I had definitely gave me a taste for the place. It's a wonderful town just to literally stroll around the streets of the old city, of the walled city, just to take it in. It's hard, you know, the camera can't capture what the human eye can, and it's just so pretty, it's just so in some ways overpowering, but look, a wonderful city to visit. It looks like departing from the old city is a little quicker than the entrance into Casares, so we should be pretty much out of town fairly soon, I believe. Just following these arrows here, which there have not been a great number, but we seem to have found our way out. So yeah, definitely recommend a stop in Casares, or at least you know, a good half day just to take in the sights. Most worthwhile. Okay, just heading out of town here, and yeah, that's quite an open expanse of land there in front of us, a massive valley before those mountains in the distance. So I suspect we've got some fairly flat walking, but we'll see how we track tomorrow. Interestingly, I followed the arrows once I managed to find some. Followed the arrows out of town. Was different from both the guide and what I've got, or the mapping app on my phone. So this path here, which actually seems to be fairly well used, it has a lot of bike riders on it, walkers as well. I think it avoids walking along the main road down there in the valley off to my right. So maybe it's a new addition. It does climb up into the hills, and well, you can't probably tell this, but I'm actually coming out of the hills downhill at the moment. Look, reasonable quality track, and some fantastic vistas up here, I must say. But yeah, those dry fields ahead look a little intimidating, but they will be what they are. Okay. Just out on the plains here. Hopefully you can hear this lovely breeze. It's actually very good walking, and has been from Casares, and we're, I think, approaching Casar de Casares here. In fact, I can see a bit of a township over there to my left. So no, the walk's gone well. A lot of riders on this path. In fact, there's two heading for us at the moment, so it's obviously proven to be a popular path for the locals as well. Well, this is lovely. Just like Casares, they've got their own promenade here as well, coming into town. This is very nice. I think there's a sports field there just to my left. I can hear there's some event going on in there. And I've just seen the sign to my accommodation. And let's see if I can get a meal here as well at some stage. But yeah, lovely. Always like promenades like this. Nice to walk through. Well, this is a busy Sunday in Casar de Casares, and I've got a rather small beer here to get through. Just having lunch here. Everybody's out eating at the moment and getting together, so it's maybe this Sunday thing is actually quite a good thing. Don't know whether you can hear me over the noise in the background. I don't want to get too close. My hair's all over the place. A good day's walking today. Fantastic stop in Casares. Just wonderful looking through the walled city, the old city, and even the new city. So it had a mixture of everything in there. And in a way, coming into larger cities on weekends is a real bonus, because a lot of the facilities are open. So I was able to get, food there. There was even supermarkets open today, which was great. And I bought some provisions because the walks over the next few days could be quite interesting. Checked into the accommodation here. Just getting ready for lunch. I'll have a big meal and just get myself ready for tomorrow. The walk today was all good. I liked the walk this morning. I loved coming into Casares. The walk to Casar de Casares, if that's the pronunciation, is interesting. I think they've changed it a bit. It does go over a hill and whatever, but then you enter into the flat plains and walk through those. The path quality is good and it's relatively flat, so you can move through that fairly quickly. So no problems there. Tomorrow, early start. It's a longer day, 33 Ks. Indeed, the next 3 days are going to be pretty long days. So I'll be working the body pretty hard, but so be it. So I'm looking forward to it, feel okay. Going to have a big lunch here, so I should be definitely full of energy, and I'll speak to you tomorrow. Ciao.